Welcome back to Wandering Worlds. I'm your host, Bryon Best, here to guide you through the corners of the gaming universe, one story at a time. Today we're venturing into the blocky, limitless realm of Minecraft, where creativity meets survival. Our story follows Steve, a lone wanderer, as he takes his first steps into an untamed world and rises to face his greatest challenge, the Ender Dragon. A tale of resilience, exploration, and triumph. It reminds us of the extraordinary adventures waiting within every block. So, settle in, relax, and let's embark on this journey together. The first sensation Steve felt was warmth. A bright, blocky sun rising over the horizon, bathing the land in golden light. Around him, the world stretched out in all directions. Endless meadows, towering trees, and a tranquil lake sparkling in the distance. He stood still, taking in the moment, and then turned towards the nearest tree. The effort was slow, methodical. His hands, empty but determined, struck the wood again and again until the trunk yielded and the first blocks of his journey floated in his grasp. With the wood, he created tools, simple things, rough and functional. A crafting table followed, foundation of all creation. As the sun dipped lower, shadows stretched across the land. He felt the weight of urgency press against him, and he scanned the area for safety. A shallow cave presented itself, and Steve moved quickly, gathering stone and coal to light his refuge. He sealed himself with dirt and cobblestone as the first groans echoed from the dark. In the flickering light of his single torch, he crafted and prepared. The night outside was alive with danger, but inside, the steady rhythm of creation and survival continued. When dawn broke, he emerged, cautiously, ready to face the world anew. Days passed in cycles of labor and discovery. Steve's hands grew skilled as he shaped his home, a modest dwelling of stone and wood perched above a flowing river. He roamed far and wide, climbing snowy peaks and wandering through sunlit forests. Sheep, cows, and chickens moved about the land, and he gathered what he needed, always mindful to leave enough for the world to flourish. One morning, he encountered wolves prowling near a forest edge. With careful movements, he offered bones collected from skeletons fought in the night. The wolves hesitated, but eventually drew close, tails wagging. One stayed by his side, and together, they ventured into the unknown. The earth called to him. Beneath its surface lay mysteries and dangers, treasures and trials. He delved deep, chipping away at stone and uncovering veins of iron, patches of coal, and finally, gleaming diamonds. The deeper he went, the more perilous his journey became. In a cavern lit by flowing lava, he felt the ground shift beneath him. A hiss cut through silence. Steve bolted, instinctively shielding himself with cobblestone. The explosion rocked the cavern, sending fragments of rock and flame into the air. His heart pounded as he emerged, battered, but alive. When his tools were ready and his resolve firm, Steve built the portal. The obsidian frame stood tall against the sky, shimmering with the mysterious purple glow of the nether. He stepped through, bracing himself for the chaos that awaited. The heat was overwhelming. Rivers of lava snaked through the crimson landscape, and grotesque creatures roamed freely. Towering fortresses rose in the distance, their blackened stone walls menacing against a fiery sky. Steve moved with caution, navigating narrow ledges and dodging fireballs hurled by distant ghosts. In the depths of a fortress, he faced withered skeletons, their swords sharp, and their movements relentless. Through perseverance, he gathered blaze rods and barred with piglins, earning precious ender pearls that shimmered in his hands. In each step, in the nether, it felt heavier than last. But Steve pressed on, his eyes fixed on the path ahead. With all he needed, Steve crafted the final pieces of his journey, eyes of Ender, glowing with an otherworldly energy. He followed their trail across plains and forests, through deserts and oceans. When they led him to the stronghold, he descended into his ancient halls, feeling the weight of history pressing down. The portal frame stood in eerie silence, its empty slots waiting to be filled. As Steve placed the last eye, the air around him shimmered and roared, and the portal to the end sprang to life. The void was disorienting. He stood on a platform of obsidian, suspended in darkness. The Ender Dragon circled above, his wings beating with a force that shook the air. Towering obsidian pillars rose around him, each crowned with a glowing crystal. Steve acted swiftly. He scaled the pillars, shattering the crystals with precise strikes, all while dodging the dragon's fiery breath. Each destroyed crystal brought him closer to victory. The battle was relentless. The dragon swooped low, its claws grazing the ground as Steve rolled aside. He drew his bow, unleashing arrows that struck true. His sword, sharp and unyielding, struck the final blow as the dragon descended. The Ender Dragon's roar echoed across the void before dissolving into a shower of light. The experience flowed around him, and in the silence that followed, the end felt oddly peaceful. Steve returned to the overworld, stepping through the portal into a familiar warmth of the sun. His home, nestled by the river, felt different now. The dragon egg rested on a pedestal, symbol of his triumph. As night fell, he sat by the hearth, his wolf resting at his feet. The crackling fire cast long shadows across the walls, and Steve allowed himself a moment of stillness. Beyond the safety of his home, the world stretched on, infinite and full of possibilities. And so Steve's journey continued, one block at a time. Steve's adventure reminds us of the beauty and persistence in exploration. Even in a world of blocks, the stories we build are boundless. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And until next time, keep crafting your own adventures. This is Bryon Best, signing off from Wandering Worlds. Sleep well, adventurers.